What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the corner. We've got an absolute bombshell today as the YouTube files have now dropped from Representative Jim Jordan in the United States government. And the level of censorship, the level of control that the United States government, in particular the Biden administration, according to this report, the level of control that they've exerted over Americans' First Amendment speech rights, and really everybody around the world is, I guess, for those of us in the know, we kind of knew, but this lays it out in chapter and verse, and could be extremely bad news for YouTube going forward, because this is a big yikes. So grab your magic spoon cereal, bowl of cereal. Let's get started with this after a quick word from this video sponsor. The morning bowl of cereal has always been a part of my life, but as I've gotten older, I've looked for a smarter decision for my breakfast cereal, and that's why I've gotten Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon is a wholesome, high-protein, simple, high-quality, with no artificial ingredients cereal. It has 0 sugar in it, just 4 net carbs per serving, and 13 grams of protein. It's great for a low-carb lifestyle and those who are carb-conscious. Magic Spoon will have that great taste you love with more protein and less sugar. Magic Spoon has a ton of different flavors available. It's high-protein, keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, wheat-free, naturally flavored, and totally delicious. Click the link below to get some Magic Spoon cereal today. You can build your very own custom box with all the flavors you love using my code QUARTERING for $5 off. You can choose from best-selling cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, and maple waffle flavors, plus other awesome flavors, including honey nut, blueberry muffin, birthday cake, cinnamon roll, and chocolate chip cookie. You can also add their marshmallow and chocolatey peanut butter cereal treats to your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed by a 100% happiness guarantee, so if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. So click the link below or scan the QR code on the screen and use code QUARTERING for $5 off, or go to magicspoon.com/quartering to save $5 on your order today. Also, my Canadian and British fans, Magic Spoon also ships to Canada and the UK. Give it a try, check it out. If you're like me, you'll love it too. The YouTube Files, Part 1. Remember to check out Magic Spoon. I keep it as a snack. I like dry cereal. When I was a kid, it's a nice little grab and keep you going kind of thing. Use my promo code to save some cash. The YouTube Files Part 1. Biden White House pressured YouTube to censor Americans. Internal documents from Google, YouTube's parent company, obtained by the Judiciary Committee and the Weaponization Committee, shows that the Biden White House wanted Americans censored. Now, this, for anybody who followed the Twitter files, for example, we knew this. We knew that literally Elvis Chan of the FBI San Francisco office was emailing Twitter to be like, hey, bro, check out this guy who did this mega guy with 4 followers, said something bad. You should probably ban him. Almost 1 year ago today, Matt Taibbi published the first edition of the Twitter files, followed by other journalists, Michael Schellenberger, Barry Weiss, Lee Fang, and Alex Berenson, also publishing more stuff. After issuing subpoenas to big tech, so we actually have a situation here, essentially, where we are getting some action on the Twitter files. After subpoenaing big tech, the Judiciary GOP released the Facebook files this summer, revealing the Biden White House wanted true information censored. Facebook changed its policies because of pressure from the Biden administration. You can see here the Facebook files, those dropped on July 27th. Quote, Facebook removed content related to the coup in response to pressure from the Biden administration, including posts claiming that it was perhaps man-made, according to the internal company communications viewed by the Wall Street Journal. I mean, people were getting banned back then for saying, oh, you know where it came from? And of course, we now know it did come from there. Oh, by the way, there's another, don't look now, but Taiwan, I think it was not Taiwan. Maybe it was another country over there just issued a travel emergency, telling kids and elderly people not to visit mainland China because of a mystery flu or something like that. What a coincidence. Anyway, here's the first edition of the YouTube files. We knew the Biden White House was pushing Facebook and Twitter to censor more. Now we know the White House was repeatedly pressuring Google to censor content on YouTube. By the way, a good time to remind you that my content is all available on Rumble, and I do a daily live show there from 1 Eastern to 3 Eastern, Monday through Friday. And I absolutely love to see you there. On April 12th, my birthday, happy birthday me, Rob Flaherty, Biden's director of digital strategy, emailed Google wanting to know how Google could, quote, better crack down on jab misinformation, and to discuss ways that the White House and our experts can partner in your product work. Now, we all know that the term misinformation does in fact have a dictionary definition. We know, that it is a real thing. Misinformation is real. However, when the government uses that term or big tech uses that term, it's misinformation TM, which really means information that they don't like or that's inconvenient in most applications of it. It's similar to terminology like hate speech, which is a fake made-up word used to censor and suppress Americans' First Amendment rights. Privately, Google understood what this request actually meant as internal documents obtained by the Judiciary GOP reveal, quote, Rob's questions were very YouTube focused, and he dug in on our decision for making borderline content, which YouTube says is content that doesn't violate community guidelines. You see this, my recommendation would be to schedule an internal sync to update for the, quote, COOF misinformation deck with the latest information, blah, blah, blah. We can share with Google search trends for this stuff. Does YouTube have similar trend data? Could we ask Rob to schedule the meeting? I always want to get involved. This is from Google's Government Affairs and Public Policy Office. 1 week later, on April 21st, 2021, one of the Google's government affairs team members who had been on recent calls with the Biden White House, specifically Rob Flaherty, explained plainly what he wanted. Quote, he's really interested in what we're seeing that is not coming down. So what they're really interested in is the content that YouTube wasn't flagging down. And by the way, if you remember at this time, first of all, you couldn't even talk about it. That's where terminologies like the COOF came from, and the jab, and the virus of unknown, unspecified origin. I don't know. I forget what Critical Drinker says, but that's how you had to talk, even if you were talking in code, right? YouTube Government Affairs then emailed the YouTube product team warning that the Biden White House is very interested in our work on borderline content, and the product team should brief the White House to prevent anything from potentially spiraling out of control. The truth, right? Another week later, YouTube's Government Affairs team emailed the YouTube product team to update them on the situation. The Google and YouTube Government Affairs team were having, quote, conversations with the White House staff on YouTube policies, a private company working directly with the United States government to infringe on our First Amendment right. Both Google and YouTube's Government Affairs teams wanted the YouTube product team to meet with the White House staff, who were familiar with many of YouTube's policies and efforts removing content, because the White House staff continued to have questions on and to raise and reduce efforts. The company needed this meeting ASAP because, quote, one, there were significant attention coming from the White House staff on the issue, and two, Google was seeking to, quote, work closely with the Biden administration on multiple policy fronts and needed to appease them. Senator Rand Paul and Republicans in the House introduced legislation that would provide victims of government censorship with a remedy: the ability to sue your government bureaucrats responsible for causing your constitutionally protected free speech to be removed. Something I wholeheartedly support. Then he said the Judiciary GOP and the Weaponization Committee will continue this critical investigative work to further inform legislative solutions to the vast government censorship enterprise. And of course, tune in today for another hearing marking the 1-year anniversary of the Twitter files. And so you have, there's a hearing on the weaponization of the federal government. The Select Subcommittee on the Weaponization of the Federal Government will hold a hearing Thursday, November 30th, that's today, at 10 a.m. Eastern. It's going on right now as I'm recording this. The hearing, taking place 1 year after the Twitter Files report, will examine the federal government's involvement in social media censorship, as well as the recent attacks on independent journalism and free expression. Speaking at this event will be Matt Taibbi, Michael Schellenberger, Rupa Subramanya, Canadian-based journalist for the Free Press, Oliver Troye, former Homeland Security Advisor and Office of the Vice President Pence. And when you look at this event, you had opening statements from Michael Schellenberger, who said, today the weaponization of the federal government, quote, one's commitment to free speech means nothing if it does not extend to your political enemies.
9 months ago, I testified and provided evidence to the subcommittee about the existence of a censorship industrial complex, a network of government agencies, including the Department of Homeland Security, government contractors, and big tech media platforms that conspired to censor ordinary Americans and elected officials alike for holding disfavored views.
100% true.
I regret to inform the subcommittee today that the scope, power, and law-breaking of the censorship industrial complex are even worse than we had realized back in March. 2 days ago, my colleagues and I published the first batch of internal files from the Cyber Threat Intelligence League, which show U.S. and U.K. military contractors working in 2019 and 2020 to both censor and turn sophisticated psychological operations and disinformation tactics developed abroad against the American people.
I mean, this is a massive scandal. Will our government, will the Uniparty do anything to protect this or to get retribution for American citizens? That remains to be seen, but one can at least point out these hearings are happening. You have individuals in government like Jim Jordan who are pursuing this. And if House Republicans and, quite frankly, Democrats are smart, they'll know that Americans are paying attention to this and do not support this level of censorship. Obviously, we have a First Amendment for a reason. We've got a big presidential election coming up. I want to hear about this kind of stuff from any potential presidential candidates, vice presidential candidates, things of that nature. Sure, a lot of them like to talk about Section 230, blah, 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 blah. They did nothing. They do nothing about it because, quite frankly, were they to enforce Section 230 correctly, they don't even have to change it. If they were to enforce it correctly, they would lose their democratic extension arms like Facebook, Instagram, and for up until very recently, Twitter, and of course also YouTube. These companies worked hand in hand with the United States government to do whatever it is that they wanted. And in exchange, in my opinion, the United States government never bothered to even think about enforcing the very clear rules of Section 230 when these platforms were acting as publishers in the government's name and not just platforms. Stay tuned here to the quartering for more information as this develops today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it and you subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.